The mallard duck is one of the most common of its species. The specific behavior of the female mallard I have observed and recorded is the grooming process otherwise known as preening. This preening behavior is widespread amongst several bird species. While the main action I am focusing on is preening, other activities such as eating will be shown. As you can see here, the morning begins with the duck stretching after awakening. The lifting of one leg and extending it outward is a type of arabesque stretch which helps the duck to expand her wings for the repositioning of its feathers. Following the morning stretch, the duck begins to forage on land for food. Through my observations, I've determined that these activities are not only routine for one individual, but rather a behavior exhibited by the entire group. The normal diet for mallards includes grass, worms, insects, and aquatic vegetation, which will later be exemplified. Stomach satisfied, the female mallard slowly makes her way to the top of a rock to begin her grooming process. The causative hypothesis I propose for grooming in ducks derives from their inherent desire to keep their feathers clean from parasites as well as in proper alignment. This process is aided by the preen gland that secretes oils found near the tail end of most birds, including mallard ducks. They retrieve the oil by rubbing their head and neck on the gland and spreading it over the entire body. In Waite's research of pigeons, she reveals that preening is one of the most efficient behaviors at successfully removing parasites. While in the water, the mallard begins to preen again, with the process being more intense this time around. With the help of a flexible neck, the duck scoops water onto its body, rinsing off anything missed in the earlier grooming cycle. This may very well also be to aid in defense of the warm Arizona climate. The duck continues to preen, using her bill to pluck at its feathers. For Tinbergen's developmental level of analysis, I hypothesize that this behavior is inherited through one's genes. These ducks have developed comb-like structures on their beaks that help to assist in the grooming routine. An article by Clayton states that some beaks have adapted to form an intermediate overhang, specifically for parasitic control. According to the evolutionary level of analysis, I believe this behavioral trait has been sustained throughout the years due to the benefit it provides. According to an article by List, ducks are able to perform this even without prior experience. This is partly due to both ancestry and the surrounding environment. After grooming for several minutes, the duck begins to again forage for food, this time of the aquatic variety. The aquatic vegetation that this duck is working at on the rocks is a form of basic algae. It will also dip its head and neck into the water to search for food in a process called dabbling, which is typical in mallards. Upending is another type of feeding behavior where the entire front end of the body goes into the water while the backside goes into the air. There are several other benefits received from the preening behavior. One benefit that has yet to be mentioned is the acquisition of a mate, which relates to Tinbergen's functional level of analysis. According to research done by Louisa Amo, the preen gland produces one of the main chemical odors secreted by birds. This chemical odor is responsible for sex recognition and mate choice. As a social species, it is essential for mallards to have an overall attractive appearance. Positioning their feathers in a way that attracts others thereby increases the chance for procreation. In conclusion, preening is the primary method for this to be achieved.